live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. It is Monday, January 8th.
It is Monday.
Just making sure.
Yeah. We hope you had a fabulous weekend. It was nice, the weather. Now we have rain.
Yeah, weather's going to be interesting, not just this morning, but a couple of different mornings this week.
That's right. Looking forward to a cool front. Let's check in with Mike.
Yeah, today's the day, though, with some big changes going on. As we were talking about, starting off with some rain out there, and we have got just a few light showers here and there, maybe a thunderstorm developing later on. Pardon me about this one. There's no report that's coming in from San Antonio as of right now. Apologize for that graphic, but we are going to hit a high temperature today, up to 70. We are in the upper 50s as of right now, and that's pretty much across the board. Very mild out there. Notice how that 70 degrees is going to be at 3 o'clock. Then we're going to be dropping down throughout the rest of the afternoon. That's the time when that front moves on through here. Yesterday, the aquifer had gone down 0.2 of a foot, so it negated what had happened on Saturday. Mountain Cedar's high. We were talking about this in our meeting this morning. Mountain Cedar by tomorrow as well as Wednesday is probably going to be just off the charts because of the very strong northwesterly wind. All right, here's a closer look at radar, and it's basically light rain, maybe a couple of moderate showers here and there. There could be, as the morning rolls on, a couple of claps of thunder, primarily off to the north and to the northeast. So we've got temperatures right now, like I said, that are in the 50s around the area, even some low 60s. That will definitely change. And the wind is coming in here out of the southeast. It is on the breezy side. We do have a few gusts, 32 at Los Maples, 32 also at Canyon Lake. Now, back to the potential severe threat, well off to the east to the northeast. I don't think we'll see anything in our area as far as any stronger storms. Again, a couple of lightning strikes here and there, especially off to the northeast later on this morning and then getting into late morning. Wind advisories technically go into effect at noon today through noon tomorrow. And also we do have red flag warnings go into effect up until 9 o'clock tonight. And I would venture a guess that this is also going to be extended into the overnight hours because of the windy conditions overnight. So showers, couple of storms around off to the northeast this morning, mild and breezy. Then front's going to come through midday. We hit our high temperature of 70 right then, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperatures will be dropping down. Very windy conditions. Winds are going to be gusting again, 40 to 50 miles per hour in the overnight hours and tomorrow. It is going to be colder tomorrow, and then we're going to have the wind on top of that. So wind chills tomorrow are definitely going to be something that's going to get your attention. We'll have plenty of sunshine, still breezy, 60. Then we hit freezing Wednesday morning. After those winds subside, we will warm up somewhat going into Thursday. Another front Friday, and then another even stronger front on Monday. We'll get everything all sorted out in just a couple of minutes coming up in long weather. Traffic Authority right now. RJ Marquez, good morning, sir. Anything going on these damp roads?
Yeah, good morning, Mike, and good morning to all of our viewers out there. Happy Monday. And yeah, we are seeing some activity out there on the streets and highways of San Antonio. Taking you outside here, TransGuide. So again, these couple of things just popped up here on our radar. We're looking at I-35, the camera there, I-35 south at Loop 410. Looks like we have some type of crash. There is a vehicle out here on the far right-hand lane. You can see it's kind of turned in the opposite direction. So something that we're going to have to continue to monitor if you make your way out. So this is around the Von Ormy, the Palo Alto College area, I-35 south at Loop 410. See if we can get more information on that here in just a bit from TransGuide. The other thing that just popped up, we have a stalled vehicle, or at least it's being reported as a stalled vehicle right now. This is on I-10 at Frio, so the downtown area, a little bit north of downtown. If you're headed into, looks like, again, sorry, this just popped up, so it looks like it's the eastbound lanes of I-10 at Frio there. We do have traffic coming through the area, but you can see the left-hand lane there has been blocked off for the moment there as crews try and figure out what's going on. The rest of the city, everything else looking pretty good for the most part. We do have our indicator there showing that stalled vehicle there, I-10 at Frio. We had a stalled vehicle on 410 in Wurzbach. That is cleared out, and we had another stalled vehicle there south of downtown, I-35 at Laredo. That is cleared out as well. So we'll continue to follow the very latest and see if we give you more information on a couple of these incidents across the roads and highways. Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
RJ, thank you. Today, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas will be at Eagle Pass. He'll be taking a first-hand look at border enforcement efforts.
Last month, he visited with Border Patrol in Uvalde, less than an hour away from the border. Our Daniela Ibarra is in Eagle Pass and has more on what local business owners and leaders hope will come out of this visit.
People who live and work here in Eagle Pass say the recent surges of migrants that have filled that field behind me have drained resources and hurt the economy. They hope Secretary Mayorkas' visit today will help bring relief. It's Eagle Pass's lifeline. Business from across the border helps these stores on Main Street survive. Angel Gonzalez, whose clients are mainly from Mexico, says his sales dropped. He blames a weeks-long bridge closure for the dip in profit. Border Patrol had to shift resources to process the waves of migrants spilling into Eagle Pass. Angel says he does feel bad for the migrants. They're men, women, and kids who spend months traveling through tough conditions. Angel says he understands they want a better life. It's why he can't believe he now says it's time to shut down the border. Angel and the president of Eagle Pass's Chamber of Commerce says the government hasn't done anything to help.
There's always a solution to every problem. What it is, I'm not there to make those decisions, but something has to give. We need help from the federal government.
Eagle Pass Mayor Rolando Salinas says he's been pleading with the feds to listen.
The high people, they need to see what's going on and they need to hear from us and they need to give this importance.
More than 60 House Republicans visited the border town to see the crisis for themselves. Now Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas will follow suit, learning about border enforcement efforts.
I'm grateful that he is coming. The invitation is open to everybody.
Salinas says Mayorkas called to give him the heads up about the bridge reopening. That's why Angel opened up his store on Sunday, hoping the low wait times to cross will bring in more customers from Mexico.
Frustrante, desesperado.
He and many other businesses are frustrated and desperate. He hopes Mayorkas will understand when he gets here and do something about it. Many of the people who live here say they wish this visit would have happened weeks ago when the surge of migrants was at its worst, when this field was filled with thousands of migrants waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. For GMSA, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
New this morning, heavy fire ripped through an unoccupied nursing home late last night. According to San Antonio Fire, it happened around 10 p.m. in the 100 block of Cloud Haven, not far from Austin Highway. Firefighters arrived to find heavy fire and smoke showing from the backside of the building. The fire burned through the back rooms, the attic, and the roof. Firefighters say no injuries were reported. Fire investigation's been called out to figure out the cause. The building is considered a total loss.
This morning, the Pentagon has released new details about Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's continued hospitalization. It says he had a medical procedure on December 22nd, went home a day later, and was admitted to intensive care January 1st when he began experiencing severe pain. The latest information came as members of both parties in Congress expressed concerns about Austin's hospital stay and the fact that President Biden and other senior leaders were kept in the dark about it for days.
This morning, millions of people around the country are digging out as another storm system sweeps from coast to coast. The Northeast was slammed over the weekend with heavy snow and high winds, creating hazardous conditions on major highways. Outside Boston, the interstate was littered with jackknife trucks and cars spun off the roadway. Now a second storm strengthening in the west is expected to hit much of the country this week. Snow is piling up from Washington state to Arizona and parts of California and Utah, with residents seeing more than a foot. Well, now to a critical discovery in the investigation, that nearly catastrophic Alaska Air incident.
The plane's so-called door plug, which fell off last Friday after takeoff from Portland, Oregon, has been located. But as ABC's Allison Cossack reports, the search for answers is just getting started.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug.
The National Transportation Safety Board announcing a school teacher in Portland, Oregon, found the door plug of the Alaska airplane in his backyard. Investigators had been looking for the plug, even asking the public for help after the part blew off the Boeing 737 MAX 9 in midair on Friday, leaving a gaping hole in the fuselage, forcing an emergency landing. Investigators believe it holds clues of what caused the accident.
We are emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers.
Investigators say the door plug depressurized just after the plane took off, with more than 100 passengers and crew on board.
It was described as chaos, and it was very violent when the rapid decompression and the door was expelled out of the plane.
Investigators were able to find the cockpit voice recorder from the plane, but the device was recorded over, leaving them with none of the data to use in their investigation. The FAA has temporarily grounded certain Boeing 737 MAX 9 aircraft, affecting about 171 planes worldwide. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Great news for the Dallas Cowboys this morning. Last night, Dak Prescott threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes to CeeDee Lamb, closing the regular season with a 38-10 victory over the Washington Commanders. With that, the Cowboys win the NFC East and secure the number 2 seed in the conference. Prescott finished 31 for 36 for 279 yards as Dallas finished 12-5 for the 3rd year in a row. The Cowboys assured themselves of playing at home to open the postseason. That's a big deal for a club that went 8-0 in Dallas this season and has won 16 straight games there. So the NFC wildcard round is set. It goes as follows. Mike McCarthy will face his former team, the 7th seed Packers, will be at the 2 seed Cowboys Sunday for a 3:30 kickoff. Matthew Stafford set to make his dramatic return to Detroit as the 6 seed Rams visit the 3 seed Lions Sunday at 7. The 5 seed Eagles play the 4th seed Tampa Bay Monday at 7 here on KSAT 12. And the top seed 49ers will have a first round bye. All right, what a turnaround it's been for the Houston Texans. This weekend, a win against the Colts got them into the AFC playoffs. With a lot at stake, it was another close game, but Houston walked away with a 23-19 win. C.J. Stroud had 264 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. He finishes the regular season with 4,108 yards passing. That's 3rd highest all-time for a rookie. And remember, he missed 2 games this season. So here's your AFC wildcard playoff schedule. 5th-seeded Browns are on the road facing the 4th-seed Texans Saturday at 3:30. The Dolphins are the 6th seed, and they'll face the 3-seed Chiefs Saturday at 7. And the 2-seed Bills host the 7-seed Steelers at noon on Sunday. Ravens have a first-round bye. And, of course, you have the College Football National Championship between Michigan and Washington tonight in Houston starting at 6:30. If you didn't know the fight song, Mike will whistle it for you.
You can hear him right now.
He took the day off tomorrow, so he'd watch the game tonight. Very excited for you and Michigan tonight, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you to Justin for working tomorrow. Yes.
Aww.
Yes.
Go Blue.
The time now 5:12 and 61 degrees for now.
Just ahead, when some iPhone owners will start to receive checks as part of a lawsuit payout.
Also next, actor Jonathan Majors gives his side of the story after he was convicted of misdemeanor reckless assault and harassment charges.
Traffic and weather are going to dominate a lot of our coverage this morning. It's kind of a messy morning, and we haven't even factored in the extraordinarily gusty winds that we're expecting later on today. Mike will have the very latest coming up.
Hi, welcome back. Time now is 5:16. Well, actor Jonathan Majors is talking for the first time after being found guilty of assault and harassment. ABC's Lindsay Davis has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an ABC News exclusive, one-on-one with Jonathan Majors.
You feel that you did anything wrong on the night of March 25th, if you could relive that night?
It's been just 3 weeks since a Manhattan jury convicted the critically acclaimed actor of misdemeanor reckless assault and harassment. He was then dropped by Marvel Studios. And this morning, he's speaking out for the first time since his trial.
Why did you decide you wanted to talk now?
I felt like it was time. A lot has happened. It's about responsibility and coming forward and being brave and giving my part of the story.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more of our exclusive interview with Jonathan Majors. With your GMA First Look, I'm Lindsay Davis, ABC News.
17 minutes past the hour, about 61 degrees.
Let's look out there with TransSky looking over at I-10 at Frio Road. Problems over there that we're going to be talking to RJ very soon.
Did you know 80% of women are struggling with hair damage? Dryness and frizz that keeps coming back could be damaged hair that can't retain moisture. You need Pantene's Miracle Rescue Deep Conditioner. It's filled with provitamins to help hair lock in moisture, visibly repairing 6 months of damage in just one use, with no way down. Guaranteed or your money back. For hair that looks healthy and stays healthy. If you know it's Pantene.
Stanley Steamer is proud to be the leader in deep cleaning, cleaning over 1 million homes and businesses across America every year. We remove the buildup of dirt, dust, and grime from your home and business. Call your local Stanley Steamer.
Watch this. We get the team it up, know that we making them nervous. This in a battle, we can't have discussion. I'm talking about doing the verses. So make it a good one.
A thrilling commercial break here at GMSA. We've been talking football, and allergy medication.
Yes.
The two big topics this morning.
Yes, for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people. Paying attention to both topics, so that's
right.
good. Well, you know what? If you are heading out right now, might be a good time to pay attention to the roads because we have a couple of things that we're looking at right now. Taking you outside with TransGuide traffic cameras a little bit north of downtown. So got this clarified with TransGuide. This is actually I-10 westbound at Frio. So TxDOT was actually reporting this as a wrong-way stalled vehicle. It looks like we do have this stalled vehicle right there. We have the wrecker now up, kind of hopefully clear this accident out, or this stalled vehicle at least. But again, it's being reported right now. It's a wrong-way stalled vehicle. Not sure why they would report it as a wrong-way stalled vehicle. But again, westbound lanes of I-10 at Frio, that's something to just kind of keep in mind if you're headed out in the downtown areas. We take a look at our maps. You see we are seeing a little bit of delays right now in the downtown area, especially right there, I-10 at the Y, basically where 35 and I-10 go intersect there. Taking you out to the southwest side, this is the other thing we've been following. We do have a crash here at I-35 southbound at Loop 410. You can see it's causing a little bit of a delay on the other side of traffic there in the northbound lanes of 35, but this is being reported southbound at Loop 410. One quick look at the city. Everything else is looking pretty good, despite the fact that we've seen a lot of wet roads out there, a lot of rain. It's sort of misty in some areas. Let's show you this one shot here, and we have now cleared out that crash there, 35 south. So that's good news for our drivers in the Von Army Palo Alto College area. But again, seeing a lot of these cameras, Mike, that are showing some drops, raindrops out there. How are things looking outside right now?
Yeah, it's going to be wet all morning long, and may even see a couple of thunderstorms as the morning rolls on. This is over there at 10. At 4:10, as you can see, it is just kind of murky looking, wet roads, slow going. Here's what is showing up on radar right now. A lot of it is very light. A lot of it's even too light to be picked up on radar. Most of it just kind of scattered about, sliding up to the north. A few okay little showers here and there. Now, as far as computer model, this is pretty much right on as far as telling the story that all this, and notice how the majority of rain is off to the east and to the northeast. We keep some of these showers around throughout the rest of the morning, so it's going to be a wet commute this morning. There may be a few thunderstorms that pop up over here to the northeast. Really doubt if we see anything here in town, perhaps one or two of them. By early afternoon, that all then starts to clear out, and this is as the front starts to work its way on through here. Now, we've got the humidity is very high. Dew points are up 25, 30 degrees compared to this time yesterday. Watch what happens, though. Here we go. This is right almost at noon. Drier air comes into the hill country, sweeps on through here. Bone dry air. When you get these dew points down in the teens, single digits, you're going to feel how dry the air is. Dry air doesn't hold the heat in, and then it heats up fairly quickly. Now, as far as today, the rest of the morning, we are going to stay in the mid-upper 50s, some low 60s, a few of these showers around here, and then they will begin to taper off to the northeast. 67 at noon, 70 at 3 o'clock, and then front moves through and we drop down, and those winds will shift around out of the northwest. And we are looking at wind gusts 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 miles per hour in the overnight hours and going in through tomorrow morning. And with colder air coming on in here and those strong winds, you know wind chills are definitely going to be a factor. It pulls in the drier air tomorrow. On Wednesday with no wind, we're going to be down close to freezing. We get more humidity coming back in here Thursday, and then another strong front moves through here on Friday, and then yet an even stronger front is still looking like it's going to be coming through to start off next week. So here's the forecast today. We make it up to 70, and that's going to be 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Front comes on through here. We've got some showers. Very, very windy overnight. Again, wind advisories, red flag warnings in the hill country for today. Down to 37 tomorrow. Wind chills are just going to be biting tomorrow morning, up to 60. Freezing Wednesday morning, milder Thursday. The next front comes through here. Looking at an upside down day on Friday. Warmer in the morning. Temperatures drop throughout the afternoon. Good looking weekend, albeit on the colder side. And another very cold front moves through here Sunday into Monday of next week. Did you get all that? We'll have more after this.
In today's Tech Bites, some iPhone owners are receiving their share of a $500 million settlement dubbed Batterygate. Some people are reporting payments of up to $92. It's for a 2017 lawsuit accusing Apple of deliberately cutting the performance of its older phones without informing consumers. Nintendo is reportedly likely to release a new Switch gaming console this year. The original launched in 2017, and although over 130 million have been sold, sales have started to slow. Analysts say Nintendo needs to release an updated console to keep up with the competition. And Samsung is out with a new TV it says solves a common headache. The company announcing its new OLED TV at CES, saying the new screen is glare-free. It comes with a special treatment on the screen that the company insists all but eliminates any noticeable reflections. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Have a great day.
And the time now is 5:28, 62 degrees. We are following a house fire that is burning right now on San Antonio's east side. We're going to have a live late-breaking update next.
Also straight ahead on GMSA, we're going back to the moon. The latest rocket just blasted off earlier this morning. Up next, why the United States has not attempted a moon landing since Apollo 17. San Antonio firefighters dealing with a house full of trouble. What appears to be a vacant or abandoned house up in flames.
Katrina Weber is live where it's all happening at the corner of Wyoming Street and South Palmetto Street. Katrina, what have you found out?
Well, no official word just yet. I can tell you what we have seen and heard. The house right here behind me, you can still see flames coming out of it. When we got here, those flames were just shooting in every direction. We had some of those embers falling right down at our feet as firefighters struggled to put out that fire. They've been hitting this with a lot of water, at least in the time that we've been here. They have one of those aerial ladder trucks pouring water down on this house. They've also been hitting it with a powerful hose from the truck on the side, and yet these flames are still burning. So we don't know exactly what is keeping this fire going, but it's not for lack of trying that it's not out just yet. Now, we heard police talking about this fire initially. They were asking if there had been a report of a fire. So it seems that an officer discovered this and then called it in a little bit after 5 o'clock. Fire crews got here very quickly. We have about 15 units here still at this time. And again, still continuing to burn out of control. We heard them talking about this possibly being a vacant house. It is separated by any other homes by several feet, so it doesn't seem to be threatening any other structure. But again, those embers were flying, but firefighters did quickly get that situation under control. We haven't talked to anyone yet because they've been in the thick of this, fighting this fire, but we do plan to get over there and try to get some word here once things calm down about exactly what happened here. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. All right, it is Monday. It is January 8th, and these guys are going to be extra busy, not only today, but maybe a couple different days this week.
Well, especially in the weather department today with a lot going on. This morning we're dealing with some rain, and so the roads are definitely on the wet side. Very mild out there. You don't need a heavy jacket, just a rain jacket, but maybe take something a little heavier with you and have it handy for later on this afternoon. So this is what it looks like out there at the airport. Wet roads, kind of murky conditions. Temperatures are in the upper 50s and low 60s around the area right now. This is what's showing up on radar. It is definitely not a lot. Maybe a couple of, okay showers moving in toward the Bernie area right there. But anything more than just light rain is kind of few and far between as of right now. However, as the morning rolls on, especially off to the northeast, we're going to be seeing a couple of thunderstorms developing off there. Now, it's temperatures, like I said, upper 50s, low 60s. Normal low is 41 right now, so we're actually closer to the normal high temperature, but that obviously is going to be changing. It is windy right now. We've got 10, 15, close to 20 mile per hour winds, gusts to 34 at Lost Maples. Boy, that's nothing compared to what we're going to be seeing overnight tonight. Now, as far as the allergens, mountain cedar was on the high side. It did go up yesterday from the previous day's reading. It's going to be interesting to see what these strong northwesterly winds tonight and throughout the day tomorrow do to those mountain cedar numbers. You may want to have your allergy medicine handy. Wind advisory technically goes into effect at noon today, up through noon tomorrow for all of the area, and then red flag warnings this afternoon through tonight for western, southwestern portions of the area, about the southwestern half of our area. And I would venture a guess that that will be then even extended into tomorrow. 67 at noon. We'll have showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms this morning, and then the front's going to move through 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, we will hit our high temperature of 70, then start to drop down in behind that and all the way down to 53 at 9 o'clock. Winds are going to shift around to the northwest, 15, 25 gusty today, then pick up overnight. Hence the wind advisory. Stays very windy then the next couple of days, and wind chills are definitely going to be a factor tomorrow morning. We hit freezing Wednesday, got another front, and then even another front coming on in here. A lot on this graphic. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. Problems out there, RJ?
All right, Mike. Yeah, actually, things are looking a lot better than the past half hour or so. We saw a couple of incidents that was causing a little bit of delays on our roads right now. But I want to give you an update on this one that we're looking at behind me. This is I-10 westbound at Frio. You could see that we have cleared out that stalled vehicle. Still have those flares up in the background there. Now, of course, TxDOT, they put those up there to make sure that they can clear out this scene pretty safely. It's going to take a little while for those flares to burn out, but traffic is now moving pretty smooth there. I-10 westbound at Frio. The rest of the city, things looking pretty good. We had a crash earlier that was reported on 35 and 410. That was on 35 northbound, 410. That has been cleared out. So the rest of the city, things looking pretty good. Our maps are still indicating that stalled vehicle there a little bit north of downtown, but everything else is running pretty smooth at the moment. As we take you one quick more look here, TransGuide did want to show you this camera. Let's see if I could find it there. 281 northbound at Grayson. You could see how things are just kind of starting to get a little bit sort of messier out there. The downtown kind of in the horizon there. This is northbound traffic on 281, and again, there's not an accident or a stalled vehicle here, but again, you could see kind of the shininess coming off the roads, the wet roads there, and of course for 281, it's very tricky when it comes to kind of those ins and outs and those curves as you're kind of going in and around north of downtown. So just be cautious if you're headed out there, expecting to see these conditions kind of stay this way throughout our morning. We'll continue to give you the very latest as it becomes available to us. Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
RJ, thank you. A moment of silence for a murdered 6-year-old.
Just days after her death, the family of Hosanna Sancho held a vigil in her honor. Now, this comes as Hosanna's mother faces a charge for capital murder of a child under 10. Our Avery Everett spoke to her loved ones who say they're trying to remember Hosanna for who she was and not how she died.
Hosanna was a little girl with the greatest smile.
A short life that will leave lasting impacts.
She just loved to give everybody hugs, wanted to know everybody's name, wanted to know all about you.
In only 6 years, family and friends say Hosanna Sancho touched the hearts of so many. And now, in the days after her death, the Sancho family is holding on to every moment and memory that they can.
Today is a horrible day in our family's life.
I apologize for her because I was always...
We're hurting, we're in pain. We're very confused as to a lot of the events that happened.
On Wednesday, San Antonio police found Hosanna dead at an apartment complex on the southwest side. Police arrested her mother, Nefertiria Sancho, at the scene. And now she faces a charge for capital murder of a child under 10. The Sancho family says Nefertiria struggles with her mental health.
Every night I hold my daughters a little tighter. And think of her.
But Hosanna's death has left this family devastated.
I appreciate everybody's prayers because I need them. We all need them. We all need them. You don't know how much we need them. The struggle is real.
In a vigil to honor her on Sunday, this family was left in tears.
She was my baby. She was my everything.
But they're holding on to each other to get through this heartbreak.
It's just heartwarming and a joy to see the park filled.
Court records that we've seen show Nefertiti Sancho had a previous conviction back in 2010 for injury to a child. She then went to a state hospital after that. In February of last year, she had a medical examination for her mental health. A physician said that she had met the criteria for outpatient treatment. Now, a year later, we know in this case involving Hosanna that it's currently awaiting indictment. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
A defendant whose attack on a judge in Las Vegas was captured in a wild courtroom video we showed you recently is scheduled to appear before her again. Deabra Redden is scheduled to appear before Judge Mary Kay Holthus again later today. Redden grabbed the judge's hair after hurling himself over the judge's bench, setting off a fight with court officials last week. He was already facing prison time for a felony battery case. After the attack, he faces new felony charges.
In Japan, a powerful earthquake that struck New Year's Day has now left at least 168 dead and dozens missing. The rescue effort since the magnitude 7.6 quake has drawn thousands of troops, firefighters, and police who picked through collapsed buildings, hoping to find survivors. Authorities have also warned of the danger of landslides. More than 300 people are still unaccounted for.
Well, now to a historic moon mission getting underway from a launch pad in Florida.
As ABC's Derek Dennis reports, if all goes well, some precious cargo is expected on the moon next month.
And liftoff of the first United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket.
Liftoff, some 50 years after the first American mission to the moon, a new American rocket is on its own giant leap for mankind, launching overnight from Cape Canaveral, marking the first lunar launch from the U.S. since NASA's final Apollo mission. The brand new rocket, the Vulcan, is made by the private space company United Launch Alliance, hoping to jump into the commercial space tourism industry. If all goes according to plan, a small lunar landing will touch down on the moon on February 23rd.
They ask us as a company to buy a launch vehicle and to build a lander that can deliver their payloads, in this case science payloads, to the surface of the moon.
Rod Roddenberry, son of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, paying special attention to the launch. On board several experiments and the remains of 70 people, including Roddenberry and Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols.
He and the First Lady of Star Trek, along with a number of the other cast members from Star Trek, along with countless other prominent and wonderful people, their ashes and their DNA are going to join together and be launched out. Humanity is going where no one has gone before.
Astrobotics, the company behind the lander, warns the mission is still risky.
It is 250,000 miles away. It is in the vacuum of space. You are controlling a vehicle that you can't use a joystick with from here on Earth.
And 2024 could be the year of the lunar lander, with 5 U.S. spacecraft and at least 1 Japanese lander heading to the moon this year, with the goals of lowering the cost of moon missions and working towards getting American tourists to the moon. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
542, 62 degrees.
Coming up next, how a local organization is trying to make a huge difference for small businesses struggling to make ends meet in the Alamo City.
Back outside with live cam. Be on alert if you haven't battened down the hatches, so to speak. Get the patio cleared off for those gusty winds, extraordinarily gusty winds headed our way in the forecast. Mike has more on that coming up a little later in the newscast. Big part of small businesses San Antonio is the startup community.
The director of an organization called Launch SA joined us this weekend on Leading SA to talk about helping with the growth in the Alamo City.
Yes, Matthew Espinoza joined us. We talked about a lot. We talked about what Launch SA is, and we talked about the direction that the city is going, how so much effort is being directed right to small businesses, not just the startup community, but small businesses, mom and pop shops, and of course, our local education programs. Take a listen to what he had to say.
And for us, what Launch SA is really trying to be is that hub of those organizations and those partners that support small business owners and entrepreneurs. Because again, if you're just starting a business and you have no idea where to get started, Launch SA is a great place to go to kind of hear all the other places. And for a small business owner, they're probably facing 10 to 15 different things that are new to them. So having that small business owner being able to connect with another one to help them and guide them through the process is kind of some of the work that we're doing.
That was just a bit of our conversation. You can hear the full discussion right now. Just head to the Leading SA section of KSAT.com. Of course, we have Leading SA every Sunday at 8 a.m. So guys, We'll see you next Sunday. Back to you.
They did talk about a lot. Right now, 547, 62 degrees.
Let's look out there with TransGuide looking over at I-35 south at Loop 410. Things are moving there. Some of the camera shots had a little bit of raindrops on the lens there, so look out for that. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I-10 at Callahan West. We're going to get a check-in on the roadways with RJ very soon.
5:50 right now on your Monday morning, taking you outside TransGuide cameras. You could see that we have smooth sailing across the city of San Antonio. That's good news. Of course, no major crashes right now or delays at the moment. But as you just saw behind me, a lot of our cameras are now showing a lot of this precipitation that we're seeing in the air, a lot of moisture, kind of that drizzliness right there. 281 with the Corey traffic moving pretty good in that area there. 210, look at this camera. This camera is definitely kind of fogging up in that area right there. So let's take a look at some inbound and outbound traffic time. So if you're headed into San Antonio right now from some of our surrounding areas, you can see that Castroville is going to take you about 33 minutes, a little bit over half an hour to get in from the Castroville area. Maybe want to get an early start if you're coming in from the far west side. Lavernia is going to be about 40 minutes. Everything else is looking pretty good when it comes to traffic coming into the city of San Antonio. Outbound, kind of seeing the similar situation here where we see Castroville and Lavernia being the two outliers there when it comes to a little bit of delays in outbound traffic. If you're headed north right now, it's going to take you about 28 minutes to get to New Braunfels and 21 minutes up to Bulverde. One more quick look at TransGuide again. Traffic has been moving pretty good throughout most of our city over the past 15 minutes or so. Saw some earlier accidents, some stalled vehicles and delays, but for the most part, guys, things looking pretty good right now. We do expect traffic to pick up here during our 6 o'clock hour as more people get out on the roads this morning.
Thank you, RJ.
Yes, we do. Not too cold this morning, but again, we're dealing with that rain and later.
But it is going to get colder, and then we've got, and this is the first time in a long time, I have 3 cold fronts on the 7-day graphic here. So, yeah, and the wind is really the big story then today. Obviously, short term, we've got these damp roads out there to deal with, a couple of showers, so a little slow going here. It is fairly breezy as of right now. I mean, we've got 10, 15 mile per hour winds around the area and some pretty good wind gusts for the time being. Now, we've got the humidity around here, mild temperatures, but then watch what happens. Here comes that next front, which is just going to come screaming on through here. Mid-afternoon, we hit our high temperature right before the front moves through, just as it's coming through 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then drier air comes on in here, and the very windy conditions we are going to be seeing, again, those wind gusts even by later on this afternoon. 30, 40, 45 miles per hour. This is heading in toward dinner time. And then later on tonight, even 53 mile per hour wind gust forecast around Uvalde. And it's going to stay very windy even overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then the big problem, and I've been saying, is going to be the wind chill tomorrow morning, because forecasting a low temperature of 37 degrees and then with these very strong winds. So we're going to see wind chills down in the 20s around here tomorrow. Then the wind will eventually ease up somewhat. Here's what's going on. We've got this low which is moving on through the area. Once again, too far north to do us much good as far as rain is concerned. We will have some rain. Obviously, we do right now, even a couple of thunderstorms, with the majority up there to the north. This pulls down the cold front. So we get very cold tomorrow, and then especially Wednesday morning when the wind subsides, we're going to be touching freezing. We will warm up slightly going into Thursday. Then the next big chunk of cold air comes down through here on Friday. So temperatures will drop down throughout the day on Friday. A chilly weekend. And then the next big chunk of cold air is going to be working its way down here. And this is the one when these upper level wind lines come almost straight out of Canada. That's pulling down some really cold air. So that looks like next week at this time we'll be looking at the coldest air of the season. Here's what it looks like on radar right now. Got a few decent showers. Don't be surprised if you see or hear a couple of claps of thunder up there, see a lightning strike or two in and around Bernie, and that will be the case going on this morning. Most of that, though, is going to be up to the northeast. We'll have this rain sticking around throughout the rest of the morning commute, and then starting to taper off. Temperatures upper 50s, and then we make it up to 67 at noon, 70 high temperature, and then we drop down throughout the rest of the day and over the next 7 days. Like I said, I've got 3 fronts on here. One comes through today, the next one Friday, the next one Sunday, and it is going to be windy tonight and windy tomorrow. More after this.
Ahead the next half hour, San Antonio police say they've caught a driver involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash. What we've learned overnight in the case. And checking TransGuide, wet roads is going to lead to a messy morning commute. An update straight ahead. To some late-breaking news, water woes have been adding to a tough job for San Antonio firefighters.
They've been working for about an hour to put out a fire in a vacant house.
Katrina Weber is live near the corner of Wyoming and South Palmetto. We understand fire crews have been working with a limited water supply, Katrina.
Well, that's right. They confirmed to me that they had some very low water pressure coming out of those hydrants, which made it difficult for them to put as much water on this house as they wanted or actually needed. This is the house behind me. It looks like they finally got the upper hand on this fire. They had their aerial ladder truck, as you can see there, pouring water down from above. But it did take a good while, the better part of an hour, for them to knock down those flames. Let me give you a look at the video so you can see what I'm talking about. Those flames were shooting in every direction when we got here a little bit after 5 o'clock this morning. Firefighters were scrambling to try to put out that fire. At no point did they say that this house threatened any others nearby, because the closest house is several feet away. So no problems there. And as far as we know, no one was inside. They described this as a vacant or abandoned house. Firefighters now just got their first chance to go inside. They were fighting it from the outside. There were burglar bars on the windows and doors. We saw them cut those off, and now out here live, they're actually going in to have a look around. Investigators as well going in to try to figure out how this might have started. I can just tell you, usually with these abandoned homes, these fires don't start themselves, but we don't know the situation here, whether anyone was inside who shouldn't have been. Haven't had a chance to get that information just yet from firefighters, but we are working to get more information from them. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Okay, Katrina, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Just after 6 a.m. on your Monday, January 8th.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good weekend. The weather was nice, especially in the afternoons, and now we're going to deal with a lot of changes.
Yeah, a whole bunch going on in the forecast.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. It was really nice yesterday. Chilly in the morning, beautiful to be outside. Hopefully, as we were talking about, take down your Christmas decorations and tie down anything that can be blown around, because that's definitely going to be the case later on this afternoon with that big front moving on through here. It is a wet start this morning. You can see some of the cars out there on 410 are kicking up a little bit of a rooster tail. We've had a lot of light rain around the area right now. And again, it is just basically on the light side. A couple of perhaps a little heavier showers here and there up there in the northern edge of Bexar County. Everything's sort of drifting off to the northeast. Don't be surprised if there are a couple of lightning strikes later on this morning, especially off to the northeast. That's where the threat for some strong to potentially severe storms are, but that's well just on the extreme northeast fringes of our area. Wind is going to be the big issue later on today. We are starting off very mild. There's no report coming out of San Antonio as of right now, nor Stinson, but you can pretty much guess that we're in the upper 50s, low 60s right now, which is common around the area. Now, wind, it's still breezy this morning. Wind coming out of the southeast, however, pumping in all that humidity. So 10, close to 15 mile per hour winds. We do have a couple of gusts out there in Lost Maples, and we do have a lot of mountain cedar. It's going to be interesting to see what tomorrow's reading is and what Wednesday morning's reading is, because of those winds that will be coming out of the northwest. Now, we have wind advisories going to affect at noon up through noon tomorrow, and then also red flag warnings for the southwestern, pretty much half of our viewing area. Very high fire danger. This is in effect up until 9 o'clock tonight. I would suspect that's going to be extended. Temperatures are going to be holding steady this morning. We will have showers around throughout the rest of the morning. Noon, 67 degrees, so already well above normal at noon. We're going to top off at 70, and then the front moves through and temperatures will drop at least 10 degrees, even colder than that in portions of the hill country by dinner time, and very, very windy. And it's going to stay windy overnight, and like I said, tomorrow and then tomorrow morning at this time, we're going to be dealing with some pretty cold wind chills. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, RJ, already had problems out there. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Mike, and got a little bit of a developing situation here on the far west side, looking at US 90 and Loop 410. So we're being told that these are the eastbound lanes of US 90 at the Loop 410 ramp. Obviously, we have a car facing the opposite direction. We have other traffic coming in this direction here. Again, 90 eastbound at Loop 410, a bit of a dangerous and kind of tricky situation. So they just popped up on TransGuide a little while ago, and we'll continue to try and get more information on this. But if you're headed out in this direction, keep this in mind. 90 eastbound at Loop 410 North. That's one of the ramps to get onto 410 North. So something we'll continue to monitor as we make our way through the rest of our morning. We're looking at a stalled vehicle here eastbound of I-10 at Martin Luther King Drive, not causing any major traffic delays at the moment. So that's good news there for our drivers on the east side. Again, eastbound I-10 MLK Drive, something to keep in mind if you are headed out. One quick look at gas prices, obviously starting with Monday here. We do always want to check our gas prices, see what we're looking at to start the week. We have $2.58 across the San Antonio area, a little bit lower than the average gas price across the state at $2.66, and we are significantly lower than the average gas price in the U.S. So that's good news if you're headed out. Might be a good time to head out, especially with this wind and kind of rain and stuff. It might be a good time to fill up for the rest of your week. But again, we'll continue to follow this right here, US 90 eastbound at Loop 410, developing situation out there. Mark and Stephanie.
RJ, thank you. Happening today, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas will be down in Eagle Pass, taking a first-hand look at border enforcement efforts.
Last month, he visited with Border Patrol in Uvalde, and our Daniela Ibarra is in Eagle Pass and tells us what local business owners and leaders hope will come from this visit.
People who live and work here in Eagle Pass say the recent surges of migrants that have filled that field behind me have drained resources and hurt the economy. They hope Secretary Mayorkas' visit today will help bring relief. It's Eagle Pass's lifeline. Business from across the border helps these stores on Main Street survive. Angel Gonzalez, whose clients are mainly from Mexico, says his sales dropped. He blames a weeks-long bridge closure for the dip in profit. Border Patrol had to shift resources to process the waves of migrants spilling into Eagle Pass. Angel says he does feel bad for the migrants. They're men, women, and kids who spend months traveling through tough conditions. Angel says he understands they want a better life. It's why he can't believe he now says it's time to shut down the border. Angel and the president of Eagle Pass's Chamber of Commerce says the government hasn't done anything to help.
There's always a solution to every problem. What it is, I'm not there to make those decisions, but something has to give. We need help from the federal government.
Eagle Pass Mayor Rolando Salinas says he's been pleading with the feds to listen.
The high people, they need to see what's going on, and they need to hear from us, and they need to give this importance.
More than 60 House Republicans visited the border town to see the crisis for themselves. Now Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas will follow suit, learning about border enforcement efforts.
I'm grateful that he is coming. The invitation is open to everybody.
Salinas says Mayorkas called to give him the heads up about the bridge reopening. That's why Angel opened up his store on Sunday, hoping the low wait times to cross will bring in more customers from Mexico.
Frustrante, desesperado.
He and many other businesses are frustrated and desperate. He hopes Mayorkas will understand when he gets here and do something about it. Many of the people who live here say they wish this visit would have happened weeks ago when the surge of migrants was at its worst, when this field was filled with thousands of migrants waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. For GMSA, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
New this morning, San Antonio fire crews investigating a blaze that tore through an empty nursing home late last night. It happened around 10 p.m. in the 100 block of Cloud Haven Drive near Austin Highway on the city's northeast side. Crews on the scene found heavy flames of smoke on the back side of the building. The fire burned through the back rooms, attic, and roof. Firefighters say no one was in the building and no injuries were reported. The building is considered a total loss.
In your morning headlines, congressional leaders have agreed on a budget deal to fund the government this year and avoid a shutdown later this month. The deal between House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer included $886 billion in defense spending and $704 billion in other spending. Despite the agreement, two funding deadlines are quickly approaching, January 19th and February 2nd. If the deal isn't approved, the government could still shut down.
Well, this morning, millions of people around the country are digging out as another storm system dumps snow from coast to coast. The Northeast got slammed over the weekend with high winds creating hazardous conditions on major highways. A second storm in the west is expected to hit much of the country this week. And in the south, large hail, even a chance of tornadoes could hit late tonight and into Tuesday from Houston all the way over to Florida.
And overnight, a historic moon mission is underway, taking off from a launching pad in Florida. Some 50 years after the first American mission to the moon, a new rocket is on its own giant leap for mankind. Now, if all goes according to plan, a small lunar lander will touch down on the moon on February 23rd.
Back down here on Earth, a critical discovery in the investigation of that scary incident on an Alaska Airlines flight you can see right behind us.
The plane's so-called door plug, which fell off last Friday after takeoff from Portland, Oregon, has been located.
As ABC's Allison Cossack reports, the search for answers is just getting started.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug.
The National Transportation Safety Board announcing a school teacher in Portland, Oregon, found the door plug of the Alaska airplane in his backyard.
We're going to go pick that up and make sure that we begin analyzing it.
Investigators had been looking for the plug, even asking the public for help after the part blew off the Boeing 737 MAX 9 in midair on Friday, leaving a gaping hole in the fuselage, forcing an emergency landing. Investigators believe it holds clues of what caused the accident.
We are emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers.
Investigators say the door plug depressurized just after the plane took off, with more than 100 passengers and crew on board.
It was described as chaos, and it was very violent when the rapid decompression in the door was expelled out of the plane.
Also recovered 2 passengers' cell phones that fell out of the plane.
I found a phone sitting on the side of the road that had apparently fallen 16,000 feet. So I opened it up, and it was in airplane mode with a travel confirmation and baggage claim for Alaska 1282.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says investigators are documenting the damage, including the door plug frame, before sending parts to a lab. The NTSB also addressing concerns of 3 previous pressurization alerts in the plane in the months before the accident. Alaska Airlines had restricted the plane from flying long distance over water. Investigators were able to find the cockpit voice recorder from the plane, but the device was recorded over, leaving them with none of the data to use in their investigation. The FAA has temporarily grounded certain Boeing 737 MAX 9 aircraft, affecting about 171 planes worldwide. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Now 12 minutes past the hour, 62 degrees.
Still to come, we are 1 week into the new year, and millions of people are working on those New Year's resolutions. We're going to look at the most popular ones so far.
After the break, it's time for the College Football National Championship tonight in Houston. What you need to know before kickoff between Mike's Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies.
And you can hear Mike coming along there. Let's go ahead and look out there with live cam. It's not cold today, not right now, not the morning hours. We're in the 60s. It is rainy and wet, and things are going to change a lot over the next couple of days. We'll be checking in with Mike very soon.